Human behavior has always been a mystery. Why do people do what they do? Why do they react one way when we expected something else? How do we learn to understand, connect with, enroll, engage, align with people most effectively? Hi, I'm Christine Comerford, founder of SmartTribes Institute, and welcome to our SmartTribes Crack the Behavior Code podcast. In each episode, you'll learn practical, easy-to-use tools to better understand and change human behavior. These tools will help your team outperform, out-engage, outsell the competition. In other words, to become a smart tribe. Oh, and you'll find these tools super helpful in your personal life too. Let's go. You know, now more than ever, we want to find and feel meaning in our work. And a cornerstone of meaningful work is who we are together, how we show up for one another, how our environment supports this, and really kind of how we know we're safe and how we know we belong and we matter at work. And these prerequisites really enable us to expand our identities via our work and to become a bigger version of ourselves overall as a result. Does your work environment enable this? So here are 3 ways to create more meaning in your workplace now. Number 1, your leaders create meaning. Now, it all starts with our leader, with the culture they put in place and continue reinforcing. So let's unpack this for a second. When we experience trust in our leader, serotonin and dopamine is released, which makes us feel good because the result is oxytocin, a human bonding hormone. Those levels increase, and cortisol, a stress-related hormone, levels decrease. Great. So we've got more bonding and feeling good, and we've got less stress. Excellent. So really, when we think of increased resilience and emotional agility in stressful times, it makes such a difference to trust our leader and ultimately trust then our tribe. So this then supports self-regulation, which is our ability to manage our emotional state. Self-regulation occurs in our prefrontal cortex and is only possible when we're in our smart state, where high engagement, collaboration, communication, innovation reign, versus being in our critter state where we're snared in fight, flight, freeze. Okay, number 2, your environment creates meaning. Okay, so there are 2 qualities of an optimal work environment that helps really a tribe become and stay agile, and that's an enriched environment and a reliable environment. Let's check this out. An enriched environment is an interactive, stimulating environment which leads to increased surface area of brain cells. The result, team members making more connections, solving problems faster, figuring things out faster, innovating better, making better decisions. Enriched cultures create a more meaningful and purpose-driven workplace. A more meaningful and purpose-driven workplace yields countless benefits. And we're going to link to a graphic, which I really want you to see on the show page, because I want you to see the 2 basic modes for the human brain. There's the meaning.Let, which is the prefrontal cortex underfunctioning, where we have strong feelings, sensory, here and now, external environment dominates us. We have little meaning. We're on kind of high alert, reduced sense of self, no kind of time space. Infants and children hang out there. Dopamine is low. And then we have meaningful environments. And that's where we have prefrontal activation, where we have good thinking, where we're clear cognitively, where we have past, present, future perception, where we have internal perceptions, our internal world dominates, personalized meaning, so something that's meaningful to me personally or you, strong sense of self, clear time-space reference, and older children and adults can live in that more meaningful space where dopamine is really high. Okay, yay. So what do we want to do? Well, we've got the enriched, and now we want to create reliable. So trust also creates reliable environments. We keep going back to trust, right? A brain in a more reliable, trusting their leader, and enriched, stimulating, environment will have more branches. The overall team will have more neural branches as well. More branches equal more surface area, equal more connections, equals more positive meaning. Because as humans, we're meaning-making machines. We are constantly making meaning, deciding about ourselves and the world and our interaction with the world and how we should feel as a result. More positive meaning-making results in more fulfillment, more contribution, more innovation, more loyalty, more emotional agility, more retention, more engagement. And to boost meaning, we turn to a tribal identity, rich in purpose. And this helps us feel powerful together. This helps us understand where we fit in, how we belong to the tribe, gives us shared beliefs, increases the potency and the power of our individual identity because we belong to such a cool tribe, right? So let's look at item number 3 to create meaning in your workplace. Tribal identity creates meaning. So tribal identity is how we describe ourselves. At Google, they are Googlers and are collaborative innovators. In the early days of Microsoft, the engineers were awarded lab coats for great achievements. They were seen as brilliant scientists inventing the future. Some sales teams see themselves as cowboys and cowgirls out on the range rounding up customers. Our team at SmartTribes Institute, we see ourselves as providing Ritz Carlton-level 5-star client service. What's your tribal identity? Is it compelling? Is it aspirational? Is it playful? Is it engaging? In my book, Power Your Tribe, we talk about a cultural game plan. GAME stands for growth, appreciation, measurement, engagement, and how it harnesses our brain and how we can harness its power to transform our tribe into a super engaged, thank God it's Monday, group of high-performing, healthy, happy people. And this then creates a sticky tribal identity, right? We don't want to leave the tribe because it feels so good to be part of it. Now, a game plan is only as effective as the emotional experience that surrounds it and is reinforced by it. So to boost that emotional experience, you're going to want to bring profound meaning to your workplace, create a cultural identity, an employee experience that's rich in trust, use neuroscience-based techniques that will increase human performance, cohesiveness, innovation. You probably have pieces of your cultural game plan already in place. Now you can craft or edit, if need be, your organization's tribal identity and reinforce it with cultural rituals. And the lab coats, for the example, as I gave you before, that's a cultural ritual. So fundamental to a solid game plan is a foundation of profound meaning. So let's just check in on that briefly. To create profound meaning, right, are your mission, vision, values working as well as they could be, right? Mission is our emotional, we believe, why we get up in the morning, our purpose. Vision is where we're going together. It's aspirational and it needs to matter. Values, who we are, how we behave, how we fulfill our mission and drive toward our vision. And these need to be alive and celebrated and modeled by everybody. You can't change a person's personal values very easily. This is why we need to make sure that we recruit people that actually align with our values. So we're going to link to a values-based recruiting process on the show page. Great. So quick tribal identity check-in. Does your culture have a clear identity? If so, what is it? Does everyone throughout your organization agree with it and feel inspired by it? Does your identity reinforce safety, belonging, mattering? Does your team have high trust, high transparency around performance expectations? Tribal rituals, right? Check in. How do your cultural rituals support your identity and values? Are they enough to motivate and create belonging and mattering? So example, some of our clients have little mini golf tournaments in the office where each hole is a plastic cup for a given value. And once you get the ball in the hole or the cup, right, you share with everybody present who models this value really powerfully, how and how you'd like to model it more powerfully. Another client celebrates the superpowers of each employee as their tribal identity is of superheroes. So outside of each of their cubicles or on their Zoom background, you see the person's superpowers. Now you know who to come to if you want to cultivate some of yours. And then also last, is it safe to fail in your culture? Do you see failure as simply feedback as to why something didn't totally work as you had intended? Or is failure condemned? So the net leaders, environment, all share and reinforce tribal identity, which helps us create more meaning at work. With more meaning, we're more productive, engaged, collaborative, creative. Any organization can help create more meaning. So just to go through the three one last time, how is it that we create more meaning? Well, our leaders create meaning. So we've got to make sure that our leaders are on track with that. Our environment creates meaning, right? And then, of course, our tribal identity creates meaning. So how is the level of meaning working in your tribe? Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for joining me on this episode. Every listen, every share, every review helps others form their own smart tribes where teams are engaged, happy, and optimally performing. Together, you and I can help millions of people crack the behavior code in their organizations, families, and communities. I invite you to take 2 minutes and head over to SmartTribesInstitute.com to discover more about how to form a smart tribe. See you there, and please tell your friends.